Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back. So today we are going to start with unit 3. This is your week 3 of the same chapter, World Climate. Today we are going to have an overview what we have studied in the previous two classes, and we are going to learn more things and more in depth about the world, why the climate is changing and what is happening around the world in this video. So in the previous classes, if you all remember, we talked about climate change, the basics of it, and what is climate change and why is it happening. So what we are going to be learning after the end of this class is what is the difference between greenhouse effect, climate change and global warming. Very important. What proof do we have that climate change is happening, since it's just written all around? Are we actually observing it or not? And the last thing is, why is it happening, which is very important to know. So in the end of the class, we are going to be answering all these three questions very efficiently. So first, let's start with the greenhouse effect. The earth is surrounded by a thin layer of gases. These are three gases by which the air is surrounded, and we call them greenhouse gases. These gases are what make up the atmosphere. So these are the gases जिसकी वजह से atmosphere बनता है जैसा वो है. So the greenhouse effect said what it does, it covers around the earth. अर्थ के चारों गिर्द जो है ना ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज होती हैं जिनको हम ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट कहते हैं. So some of the light that hits the earth is reflected from becomes heat. तो उससे जो रिफ्लेक्ट होकर जो लाइट आती है वो क्या हो जाती है, हीट बन जाती है और हमारे पास हीट होके आती है. And these are the CO2 and other gases in the atmosphere traps the heat, keeping the earth warm. So as I told you, what happens is if the CO2 and methane gas is increasing on our earth, and these are the two gases that are able to absorb the heat of the sun. So this is what it's doing, since CO2 is a part of greenhouse effect. So the temperature of any planet depends on the thickness or thinness of the atmosphere of that planet. ठीक है, तो मार्स का जो एटमॉस्फेयर की लेयर है इट्स वेरी वेरी थिन, एंड दैट इज वाई वहाँ पे क्या होती है, सर्दी बहुत होती है. इट्स इन -50 Celsius, whereas on earth it's +15 Celsius on average temperature. यही है हमारा. Whereas in Venice the atmospheric layer is very very thick, and that is why it's in plus and it's very hot in that planet. So the thickness of the atmosphere and the concentration of its gases influence the surface of temperature on any planet. So what's the difference in global warming and climate change? So global warming is the increase of Earth's average surface temperature due to buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, as I told you before as well. Whereas climate change is the long-term changes in climate, including average temperature, precipitation. It recognizes that although the average surface temperature may increase, the region or local temperature may decrease or remain constant. So what does average means वैसे? So climate is average weather condition. Global warming refers to an increase in Earth's average temperature. So this map shows the 5-year average variation of global surface temperatures from 1884 to 2012. So dark blue indicates area cooler than average, and dark red indicates area where warmer than average. So how is global warming working? So what is happening is that the carbon dioxide in the air is increasing because of fossil fuels that are coals, oil and natural gases that are being burning, and because of their burning, the carbon dioxide is put out in the air. and that is because of our cars and industries that are put around us, which is exerting a lot of smoke around the area, which has carbon dioxide in it, and that is why the temperature is rising, because carbon dioxide, what it does is it absorbs the heat of the sun. So the glaciers have been melting around the world because of that, and that is because there are ice caps in the both northern and southern pole. So this picture over here that has been captured in the Portage Glacier in Alaska in 1914. So this is how it looked in 1914, whereas it now it looks like this in 2004. This is a picture of 2004 where all the glaciers have been melted and it has become a lake or a river. I'm not sure what this is. Is it maybe it's a lake or a river? So all the glacier has been melted and it has turned into a lake. So let's talk about climate change in USA, since USA is one of the most developed country around the world. So the temperature are rising, especially in winter in USA. Extreme rainfall and floods are coming 24 and 7 days frequently, and extreme dodge and wildfires are very common there, as well as in rural communities. Forest and farmlands are impacted, making crops and foods are more scarce and expensive for all. So the land is being destroyed in USA as well, and they are also facing the repercussions of climate change. So now let's learn about why is climate change happening, and let's learn more about it. So historically, the atmospheric CO2 concentration has been increasing over the period of time, and that is one of the reasons why climate change has been happening around the world. As pollution from coals, natural gases, and oils have been increasing, the use of coal has increased, natural gas and oil, and we have started to make more electricity. We know we need more energy in our day-to-day life, and that is the reason. That is the one of the reasons why climate change is happening and why it's affecting the environment. So this was the end of our video. I hope you understood clearly about what is climate change and what is the difference between global warming and climate change and why is it happening. And you got all the answers, the three answers that I asked you in the beginning of the session. Take care and Allah Hafiz.